seemingly determined in March and December of last year. While we understand some of those things change, adding an outlet for a stove seems like someone should have known that already. And I believe I'd like to know why there's a light that we need in the laundry. I think the HVAC unit was moved to the pantry, and by moving the HVAC unit to the pantry, that caused the need for the light. And for some reason, we need to widen the door. I mean, if we planned on using this for laundry, a wider door definitely should have been in the original scope, and moving the switch for that should have been in the scope. So back and forth, we're going over things that any first year contractor knows has to be done when you're going to do other things.
So I think that becomes an architect issue, not the contractors are being, I'm not going to defend the contractor, except to say the contractor's pricing and the subcontractor's pricing were based off the plans and specifications. So the idea of the doors and stuff like that, we could have a conversation and say, should the architect have known all the things within this rehab? And we can have that conversation, but that's different than the contractor needing to move forward. Contractor bid on what is in the plans and specifications.
Definitely. So we look to you for that clarification to find out what the discrepancy is and why the need for these change orders arose.
Well, they're not in the plans. Right. So that, I mean, they didn't make it into the construction plan. I mean, the metal around the windows, they were in the plans, they had the same wrap around the windows if you do vinyl side, but it's fiber cement side. It's not, the contractor has to come up with a solution, because you can't, you're not going to butt that fiber cement into nothing. I mean, you can, and you can caulk it, but you lose all your warranty from Hardy if you do it that way and don't have a wrap around it. So, that, and again, if the contractor didn't have it in the plans and specs when they were bidding it out to all the subs, it really becomes an architect issue.
The Hardy was a change, wasn't it?
The Hardy was a upgrade, but it wasn't a change order change. It was done before the contract was signed.
Go ahead, Commissioner Dorsey.
I mean, we'd like to see the workup on that change. Obviously, if that change was made at that time, all things should have been considered.
Okay. Are there, while we have Rick Giannetti here, commissioners, in front of you are 3 resolutions for change orders for Busby. That's where a lot of the questions are coming from that Commissioner Dorsey has. While we have Rick Giannetti, are there any more questions? A lot of the questions require further detail. I would like possibly an executive committee meeting after this in the next couple of weeks, so that we can have an update on Busby. I do understand, and it's often said, when this project is $15 million, and normally contractors will tell you there could be a possible 10% increase. So even though your paperwork may read 15 million, you have to add in some additional costs. And as we all know, commissioners, the cost of everything is going up, and supply chain is low. I personally ordered a washer and dryer in September. I did not get it until this past April. So we've all experienced this, and we will probably have to go more into detail. Change orders are often common. I am in support of the 3 resolutions that we do have in front of us to move forward with the project. I don't want to hold anything up, but what I am asking is that later on we have a meeting so that we could go into detail. I don't want to hold up the public or anyone else more in further discussion on this. So Commissioner, yes.
I'd like to know if this change orders represent work completed or work planned.
Some of the work is completed, some of it is planned. As they do work, they're doing work at risk.
So these change orders aren't holding up anything. They're doing their work either way.
Well, it will get to a point where they have to stop
Yeah,
it.
we'll hold it up, and
Right.
I don't want to hold it up.
Yeah, these are the ones they needed approved in terms of their subcontractors and such. And I agree, Chairman, it would be good to have a committee meeting, because if you look at the change order log that's in the board report, there's 18 or 19 potential change orders. We got to review them all in detail. It would be very helpful for me to get those questions, and before the board meeting or before we meet, to be able to get things answered. And it really becomes what I would be asking the architect, because remember, if there was a deficiency in the plans, that's not the contractor, that's the architect. And
right,
you know,
because I do see some of the receipts. I know at that meeting we had, a gentleman there was handicapped. He did ask for railings, I guess, in the bathroom, so he could lift himself in and out. I do see a quote in here for material for that. But I think this discussion is best at a round table where everything is laid out with all the change orders sitting right there, where we can all take a look at them at a later date. Commissioners, do you have any other questions? And you can ask any questions you may have now that's pertaining to the first three resolutions we have that are change orders for Busby. Okay, seeing no other questions, we can move forward with the agenda.
Chairwoman, just one question. Is there any questions or concerns about the front porch moving forward so they can maintain their schedule?
No.
I got a quick question. You said is the back, they have a back porch and the front porch?
Yes.
So have they completed the back porch yet? Or
the back porch is really a stair stoop and a stair to get out of the property. There's going to be new handrail, but the concrete porch as it is going to stay. The front porch is what's being redone and being covered.
So then what's the hold up? Can the resident use the back porch while they work on the front porch?
The resident can have access to the property in and out using the back door and the back porch. It's only the front porch we're dealing with right now.
And you said, like, the reason why I'm asking this question, we're not going to come back again talking about we got to fix the back porch.
No.
Is the back porch need any type of repair? Do we have the architect the double check to make sure everything was in good condition? Because I know we're doing a rehab to that place, so I don't want us to come back again saying that, oh, we forgot we missed something and we have to go back and do X, Y, Z.
So that's a different question. The front porch is always part of the scope of work. And it's a significant job, right? Because they're building a big porch that's covered. The back porch, I'm not saying and we can do that they might run into some repairs that are needed on some of it, but that is not what's holding up right. They're doing now is they want to move ahead on a major part of the scope of work, which is, building these front porches.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm just what I'm saying is they need to double check too with the back porch, so we don't have to come back down the road again. And so when they're doing a scope of work, they got to make sure to double check everything so we know we're on the same page. Because it seems like we keep coming back that something happened before, then now we got to go back. So I would love for it to have something, clarity, like if something because if we're doing the whole thing, then we need to look at the back portions to make sure if we have to replace those things, we got to include it in it. Then let's try to bring that to the board instead of coming back at a later date and then trying to discuss that again.
Okay.
Are there any further questions? Okay, we can move forward with the agenda.
Okay, I know Rick's presentation was part of the secretary's report. Denise, were you finished with your secretary's report?
Yes, thank you, Rick.
Yep. Okay. The first resolution for the Busby change order is resolution 9594-08-22, resolution of the Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, approving a change order for additional electrical work for the rehabilitation of the Busby Homes Rental Assistance Demonstration Project and authorizing the interim executive director to execute the change order. Is there a motion?
Motion Tweedle.
Second, Marshall. Was that Ms. Johnson?
That was Natalie.
I'm
Devonish.
sorry.
Mhm.
Devonish, Commissioner Devonish,
Mhm.
second the motion.
Got it. Okay, Commissioner Devonish,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. The next resolution is Resolution 9595-08-22, resolution of the Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, approving a change order for Escalation Electric for the rehabilitation of the Busby Homes Rental Assistance Demonstration Project and authorizing the interim executive director to execute the change order. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Go ahead, and I'll second Tweedle.
Okay, got it. Any discussion?
Here, no discussion. Call the vote.
Commissioner Devonish,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next resolution is Resolution 9596-08-22, resolution of the Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, approving a change order for exterior metal trim, window trim for the rehabilitation of the Busby Homes Rental Assistance Demonstration Project and authorizing the interim executive director to execute the change order. Is there a motion?
Motion Tweedle.
Second, Johnson.
Thank you. Commissioner Devonish,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. So that's all of them, Rick. Are you good to go?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Rick.
We'll schedule something in the near future.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we kind of skipped over. I'm going to go back to agenda item 9, which is other business and communications. Is there any? Okay, hearing none. Moving back to the resolutions, the next resolution is 9597-08-22, resolution of the Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City approving the attached pre-check writing report and disbursements of bills thereof.
So
Is there a
moved.
motion?
Is that Dorsey?
Okay, got it. Is there a second?
Second Tweedle.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none. Commissioner Devonish,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next resolution is Resolution 9598-08-22, resolution of the Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, designating Jerry Volpe of Governance and Fiscal Affairs LLC as the qualified purchasing agent of record. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion. Second.
Okay, I got a motion from Commissioner Dorsey, a second from Commissioner Tweedle. Commissioner Devonish,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next resolution is resolution 9590-08-22. Resolution of the Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City approving and authorizing the award of a contract to Sunbelt Industries, Inc. for management consulting services. Is there a motion?
Motion Tweedle.
Second,
Second, Johnson.
Commissioner Devonish,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
yes,
Okay. Motion carries. At this point, I'm going to turn agenda item number 5 over to Alberto Camacho and Chair Marshall.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. For this particular item, we had talked about having a discussion with regard to the naming of an interim executive director. And for this reason, we did send a notice out to your current interim executive director, Ms. Gordy. And that's in accordance with state law that would require that. And Ms. Gordy has asked for this discussion to be done in public, which it is. So, and the discussion is with regard to essentially naming a new interim executive director and placing Ms. Gordy back to her position or only to her position of director of finance. And that is what the board is discussing tonight. So obviously any questions with regard to that, any discussion on that, we can open that up to the commissioners.
So Ms. Gord is going back to the finance director position.
Correct. So originally, and remember, Commissioner, when this was first done, when Ms. Gordy was first appointed as the interim executive director, what was discussed with the board was that she, in fact, is doing two roles. She's doing a dual role at this point, handling the interim executive director services as well as handling the director of finance. So based on what the board's plan is with regard to bringing on the management consulting services and naming a new interim executive director, part of that is to take this action as far as to remove the title of interim ED from Ms. Gordy and to have her remain obviously in her current position of director of finance. And for that reason, we had to notify Ms. Gordy because it is affecting as far as her employment, given that that title is being removed from her.
Read the resolution to us again.
Do you have it handy, Alberto?
Yeah,
Okay.
hold on. Sure. So there's two resolutions, Commissioner, and it's a good question. The first resolution and the one we're discussing would be resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, concluding Denise Gordy's appointment as the authority's interim executive director. And again, this is not affecting her position as director of finance. I want to be clear. This just concludes her role as the interim executive director, and then allows for the agency to appoint a new interim executive director at that time.
So the management companies that come in, right?
Correct.
The management company will provide our acting ED.
Correct. So part of the scope of services for the management consulting agency was to provide an interim executive director. So that's included in that in the contract that was approved by HUD and which you went out for an RFP for in the scope of services.
So my next question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is it, have we come to like the budget for that? Is that in the resolution?
So with regard to this, the services were already budgeted for as far as the management consulting services. I guess I'm confused as to the question, Commissioner, because the board approved the RFP for the management consulting services. The new interim executive director services would be, that's included within those scope of services. So there's not a separate budget for that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions from the commissioners?
Hearing, seeing that there are no further questions, we can move forward.
So I'll read the resolution title again. Resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, concluding Denise Gordy's appointment as the authority's interim executive director. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Commissioner Devenish,
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes, and yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. So the next resolution would be resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority and Urban Redevelopment Agency of the City of Atlantic City, designating John Clark of Sunbelt Industries, Inc. as the interim executive director. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second. Tweedle.
thank you. Commissioner Devenish,
Yes.
Commissioner Dorsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Gabay,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Sorry, yes.
Commissioner Tweedle,
Yes.
and Chair Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. And I'll just ask Beth to send me those resolution numbers, if you could.
That's it for the agenda items, correct?
Yes, just the good and welfare. Sure.
Okay, for the good and welfare, I would like for Jerry, you could still allow from Jay-Z to reintroduce yourself, as well as Mr. Clark. Jerry, could you please introduce yourself to the commissioners again, please?
Isn't she happy?
Hold on 1 second. Let me mute people. Okay, go ahead. Oh, Jerry, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, my apologies. Okay, first of all, commissioners, thank you for the appointment tonight as the QPA of record. As I have addressed each of you in the past, my credentials speak for themselves, extensive experience in the field of public procurement, having taught at Rutgers University, all the certification courses, purchasing 1, purchasing 2, purchasing 3, municipal finance, having served as a chair of the New Jersey Association of County Purchasing Officers for a number of years. There's a whole litany of entities in public purchasing that I've served in. We have a lot of work here at the Atlantic City Housing Authority, and hopefully working closely with John Clark of Sunbelt and your team of professionals, including Rebecca and Mr. Manfredi and Alberto as well. I'm confident that we can start to do some of the hard work that's out in front of us. We've already commenced jumping in and reviewing a significant amount of items. And even tonight, as you were meeting, I was taking copious notes as to the Busby project and the change orders. And we can also address and talk about that at some future meeting if you wish. One of the concerns, of course, are I'm not a big fan of AIA documents, American Institute of Architect documents, because they kind of protect the architect as opposed to the owner, which are you guys and ladies. So there's a lot of work. And we're going to start looking at contracts, agreements, change orders. As the chair noted, it is not uncommon to see change orders on projects come in. One of the reasons they put a law in New Jersey to cap them at not more than 20% was to preclude the runaway from happening. But I can tell you as a factual matter that on public works projects, it is always the contractor and the owners having disputes that ultimately result in claims that contractors are very good at documenting from the beginning of the projects. Private sector, where I also have extensive experience, I ran a construction company for a number of years, executive VP. I can tell you the battle between the private and public contractors and owners always results in extensive change orders. I don't always agree with that, but that's the unfortunate part. I'm going off on a tangent, so let me stay focused. So there is a lot of work in front of us. We intend on jumping in. My team I've already put them to work. They've been working very hard the last couple of days trying to put together a bunch of items that we're going to need additional assistance with. And I candidly look very forward to working with John, Rebecca, Joe, and the rest of the team and getting input from the commissioners and bringing information to you. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for appointing me tonight. As you know, by appointing me as the QPA of record, you've given me the accountability and responsibility of the procurement function. And for everyone watching tonight and the team members and staff members, zero threshold means zero. No procurements will go forward from this second forward without my written consent. The only exception to that will be if there's a public exigency or an emergency and John Clark signs off on it. We're going to follow the rules. We're going to continue to work with HUD until such time as they take us off of zero threshold. I've already had some very candid discussions with them. And if we deliver what we say we think we can deliver, I'm extremely optimistic that we will see movement in terms of giving us greater flexibility. Right now, we have zero flexibility because of being under zero threshold. So I'm asking for everyone's cooperation. I'm asking for your tolerance. And I'm asking the team and the staff especially to please recognize and understand that this isn't personal. This is just the rules, and we're going to comply with the rules and follow them. Now, as long as you've designated me and you've put me in this capacity, I intend on working very closely with our attorneys to make certain that we do the right thing. I'll entertain any questions that anyone might have.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Johnson.
before we go further, can we say at least a thank you to Ms. Gordy
Oh,
for
absolutely.
the work that she's done?
Yes, that was coming. That's Carter. I wanted to, well, I'll do it now, but yes, I wanted to thank Ms. Gordy and the staff. We've had a rough year. We've short staff. We have to hire more individuals. Ms. Gordy had to wear several hats within the agency. She's been working 12, 20-hour days, working on weekends, such as her staff. We appreciate that, and the patience. Has been a long year. I hope, she starts vacation next week, Monday. I hope she could spend this time just enjoying her family and enjoying some time off, taking a break from the agency But yes, absolutely. I was going to thank her.
And I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that Denise and I know each other. She was one of my students. I had her in class, and again, I want to thank her as well. But we're entering a new chapter now, and we're going to move forward, and hopefully it'll be with her cooperation.
Absolutely. Jerry, I just want to let you know, thank you as well. I also passed my TPA exam. I just recently got my certificate. So thank you for helping me achieve that goal.
I told you you would. I was confident.
Yes, it was hard, but I'm there. Thank you.
Denise, it's Pat Tweedle. I want to thank you for all that you have done. It's been a pleasure working with you in that position.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Field.
Denise, it's goodbye. I just want to say thank you for everything. It's been a really, really tough 1 year with everything that was falling apart. You stepping in and working with HUD and trying to keep the agency, functioning, and with the staff. I know it wasn't an easy task, but thank you for staying in there, for running the race. Thanks to your staff. And, I'm just grateful that you gained some experience while you were in this position, and don't let that be, continue to follow your education. I think you'll be a great, wonderful ED one day.
Well, thank you, Eli. All right,
All right.
may I add something too? I also want to say, I want to take this moment to acknowledge the ACH staff. Without Miss Ivy Melendez holding the team by hand with the operations, we were very successful with the redevelopment. To the 17th floor, it was some challenging moments, but we made it through. Everyone still got paid, vendors got paid, even through the hiccup. And it was my pleasure serving you all as interim executive director. I learned a lot about redevelopment and working with other stakeholders in the community. And being from here, it was especially rewarding for me to be able to give back to my community. So I thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Any, before Mr. Clark speaks, does
Nice.
anyone else?
Sure. I'm gonna quote our mayor. It's a great day in Atlantic City.
Can we say great day? That's right.
Great day, great day.
Jerry, were you finished? That was it? Okay, Jerry, yeah, you're back on mute. Okay.
Yes, I am. Unless anyone has any questions for me at this time, I'm an open door book. I can be reached via email. Prior to tonight, Denise was working with your IT people to establish an email address for my team and I at ACHA. So tomorrow, in the next few days, I'll be reaching out to the IT person to get access to everything. But feel free at any time for any of the commissioners, staff to reach out to me. My cell number is public record 973-464-6800. Anytime you have a question, want to discuss anything, please feel, as you heard it goes off regularly. So if you have any questions, concerns, and you want to talk about anything, shoot me an email. The way it's going to be working at the agency is with the staff. Anything and everything will be conducted in writing so that there is no confusion as to he said, she said, I said, you said, etc. So we're going to try to make certain that we move forward in a professional way. So if there's any questions, I'll entertain them. If not, I look forward to the challenges that we have, and hopefully we'll be able to move forward and make some great things happen.
Okay, thank you,
Chair,
Jerry.
Madam Chair, I'd like to say one last thing, if I may.
Yes, Commissioner Dorsey.
Just like to say one last thing. I always say it's not what you do when people are watching, it's what you do when people aren't watching. And as some of us are aware, we had an issue with trash that a tenant left on West End Avenue that was blowing everywhere, and people were picking through the trash. And I drove through quite a few times. And while I was driving through, I took a couple of pictures of the crew. And what I noticed when I looked at those pictures was our property manager in a dress picking up trash. Thank you, Nicole, for doing what you do at Busby. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Dorsey did make me aware of that, so thank you very much for that. Okay, John Clark, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to be brief. I want to also echo what everyone has said, Denise and Ivy and all the management team there for holding things together. I want to also thank the board and HUD for their confidence in allowing this team to come in to try to help the authority put things in order. We're going to have some late nights. We're going to have a lot of weekends for the staff. I hope you're willing to roll your sleeves up and, as Jerry said, work with us through this process and really make things better. So I do want to thank the board again for their confidence. I want to recognize Denise and Ivy and the team. Go have a nice vacation, Denise, please relax, recharge your battery. And I look forward to working with everyone going forward. Same thing with Jerry. We are pretty much straightforward. We're available, accessible. We want to make sure that we sort of build this new bridge from the policies forward. So we're going to start with working on some policies with the board. We're then going to be working on incorporating those and doing staff training as we go forward and recreate the framework here. So appreciate everyone's hard work. I wish I could say it's going to be easier, but it's going to get a little harder for a minute. I'll be introducing myself and getting around in the next couple of weeks to everyone so we can see kind of what we have and where we go from there. But if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Same thing with Jerry and the staff. You know, we want to make sure the lines of communication are open, and we'll be doing that with some of the new policies that we implement. So other than that, Chair, thank you. And again, I look forward to working with everyone.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, I know I spoke a lot, but I got one more thing to say.
Sure.
Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for guiding us through these troubled waters. And I'm happy where we are today. And I think everyone here knows that we're making progress, which is great. We appreciate everybody on this call here, guests, participants as well. Go Housing Authority. Let's move forward.
Okay. Sounds great. Anyone else?
Is Ivy on? Is Ivy here?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, Ivy, we just want to say thank you too. I know, like I said, you and Denise, thank you guys for everything, because I know it hasn't been easy. It's been a tough road, but thank you for just keeping your head and, you know, working with the staff. I know we have a lot of stuff that we got to do, but, you know, moving forward, I just want us to all to come together and just work together, because at the end of the day, it's for the resident. That's what we're doing this job. That's what we signed up for. And I just appreciate you guys for your hard work. And I know you didn't have everything that you needed to get everything done, but moving forward now, we have some stuff in place. And, you know, I just want to say I'm so grateful for you and Denise, and also the property managers for everything that you guys do every day. So let's just work together and remember our number one goal is for the resident. And I'm just looking forward for us to just communicate and make everything work again. And I just want to tell the public, thank you in public. Let's give your flowers to you and Denise too for everything you guys have done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Eli, for those kind words. Thank you. And of course, thank you, Denise. This was a tough year, and we're trying to move forward as we have been. So thank you, everyone, especially
Thank you.
Denise and the board. Thank you.
Ivy. Thank you.
Denise, Ivy, I want to thank you for all the hard work that you have done along with Denise. And it can only get better now.
Well, you know, we have a whole property management staff that faces a lot of challenges every day. So, you know, I don't want to lose sight on our property managers who are in the buildings every day, dealing with all the problems and issues and the tough times that we've been through without resources and other things. So definitely, please, shout out to all my property management staff and maintenance. Thank you, Ms. Tweedle.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else?
Commissioner, Chairperson Marshall, would you mind if I just say one thing? I just really wanted to address, the REAC at Stanley and,
Yeah, that's another thing. Yes, we passed.
we got a 75. I mean, HUD kind of
75.
set the bar at an 80, but we got a 75, which is good. I do have it in being reviewed to see if there's anything that we could possibly get points back for.
Okay.
And John, you're familiar with the company. It's the same company we spoke about before. I actually used them on the previous Shore Park inspection as well. And we can speak offline about that, but they were not able to gain any points back on that one. But for Stanley, we may be able to. I don't think there wasn't, like I said, we did rather well. We did okay. We, much better than anticipated. And there was a lot of work that went into it, a lot of overtime, a lot of work for maintenance. But I really want to address my staff and sincerely say thank you. Deirdre Brock, the manager for Stanley Homes, and her staff out there, and all of our maintenance staff, because it literally truly was all hands on deck, as Denise described. Every single maintenance staff was placed on Stanley. Obviously, for emergencies and things, they had to go back to their buildings, but we've had a challenging, I'd say 3 years, honestly, because of COVID. And it's been very tough to do our jobs. So I really want to acknowledge the staff for job well done in obtaining the score that we did at Stanley. We're not done. We still have one more AMP to complete our cumulative scores. And that's what we're moving on to work and plan ahead. I have not gotten notified of a date for AMP 2 yet, but it is coming because obviously they're inspecting all units this year. And that is the last AMP to be inspected. After that, all of our AMPs would be inspected. And as of right now, we are at a cumulative score of over 70. So we're holding our own. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Ivy. Okay, is anyone else?
Chairwoman, after, I just want to speak to you. I don't know, Dorsey and maybe Denise and other people before you guys leave with a quick question.
You have a question?
Yeah, but I wanted to address it to you, Denise and Ivy and John Clark and Dorsey, if you don't mind, if you could just for a few minutes.
I'm not sure that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we can do that at this moment. We can do that in terms of a committee meeting.
Sure.
Okay. Is there anyone else? Okay, I want to thank all the commissioners, the staff, everyone for being patient over this last year with Jerry and John. We are getting their skills, but we're also going to get a lot of education. They explain everything, and if things are not going well, they're not going to just tell us that it's not correct. They're going to explain how to make things better. And at the end of all of this, as HUD says, what is the end result? Because they don't want to hear all that nonsense in between. The end result of all of this will be fully staffed. All our policies will be updated, and they will be a part of the team and ensuring that we bring the proper people in, the director of Section 8 and the different staff that we need. And the board, I will be working with John Clark on some trainings, a possible retreat on a Saturday in a coming fall, maybe September, October. We'll be coming up with a 5-year plan. We'll be getting more information on Busby. We have to discuss Stanley, and we have to discuss the conditions of our senior buildings, mixing the seniors with people with disabilities. So there's a lot. So if there is a list, commissioners, of any of your concerns, if you could narrow them down to 3, if you can email them to me, I can summarize them all. I could give John a list of concerns. This is going to be a working relationship because with John comes the experience. With Jerry comes the experience. So this isn't the typical commissioner ED form where we are evaluating an executive director. We're getting experience from John. We know the lay of the land. John knows the laws, whether it's state or federal laws, and the operations of a housing authority. That's something that we will be gaining from him, where we may explain, we know the culture, we know the city. So those are things that we will share with him and any of the concerns. So you can email me, you can text me, I will compile that information and I will see to it that John gets the information with the top 3 priorities. And we'll work on everything. And if John sees fit that those are priorities as well, we'll go from there and we'll have a discussion about that later on. So thank you, commissioners, for that. And I appreciate it if you could definitely get me that information as soon as possible. Moshe Math, I did see you in there. You didn't speak at the last meeting. Is there anything you want to say on home ownership?
No, I think I'd like to see something get done sooner than later. I hope that we can get something set up with a nonprofit to start offering out those classes all over again for people to become homeowners. And I look forward to working with you. And in the past, both Beth Ann, Ms. Upshaw, Ivy has been terrific, as well as the executive offices, and the board members have always been cooperative, and look forward to that again. Thank you.
Okay, great. Denise, enjoy your vacation next week. And do not check your emails or look at your cell phone. Just enjoy, have a good time. Is there anyone else for the good and welfare? All right, hearing none.
There's someone has their hand raised.
It just says iPhone 8. That could be an error. It's been raised for a while.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is there going to be speaking from the residents and time for the residents? Or
Yeah, that was in the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. Best of luck to Miss Gordy also, but I hope in her absence we won't have to start from the beginning, because at Jeffries, I'm on the grievance committee at Jeffries, because it seems each time we change management, we have to start over. So I look forward to Mr. Clark coming in with his expertise and picking up where someone left off, rather than having us start from the beginning. Like you said, Miss Gordy wore many hats, and I think maybe one of them blew off in the interim, but she did try and meet with us. But we've waited like a month just for a date, and I wish she had just reached out and said, I'm leaving. And you will have a new director, and hopefully she passed on some things too. Will pass on things, Ms. Clark.
Public
Sorry,
session was in the beginning, and Ms. Gordy is not going anywhere. You will still see her every day in Jeffrey Towers, Monday through Thursday, although she is taking a well-deserved vacation next week. If you would like to speak at our September meeting, it will be posted and advertised, and people from the public can speak in the beginning of the meeting. Thank you.
Is there a date for that next meeting?
It is.
Date or time?
The meetings are always
September 8th, and the meetings are always at 4:30.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
I'd like to remind everyone that we have their ACHA website, and you can get all of our meetings and the link to the meeting on the website in the calendar always.
Thank you, Commissioner Dorsey. And I believe Commissioner Dorsey had a motion to adjourn on the table. Is there a second?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Good
Thank
evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Have a good
Good
evening.
night. Good evening.
Good night. Good night.
Have a good night.